My name is Chunime, and I'm a mother in my late 30s. I grew up in the countryside in a very poor family. My parents were both farmers, and their yearly income was very low. The money for my brothers and my schooling was often not enough, and sometimes we even had to borrow from relatives and friends to pay our tuition. Although our family was poor, I studied very hard because I firmly believed that knowledge could change my destiny. My parents were not good at making money, so they were often looked down upon by relatives and friends. Some neighbors even bullied my mother, mocking her with cruel words, and a few of them even hit her. Those painful memories left a deep mark on my heart. At that time, I truly hated those who hurt my mother. Because of that, I made a silent promise to myself. One day, I would change the fate of my family through education. My brother and I both understood this very well, so we studied diligently from a young age. However, when I reached high school, my grades began to drop. I'm not sure whether it was due to poor nutrition or the heavy academic pressure. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't keep up. I often couldn't understand what the teacher was saying in class, and I felt miserable sitting there, terrified that the teacher might call on me to answer a question. After class, I rarely went out to play. Instead, I kept reviewing my lessons again and again, but my grades still stayed among the bottom 10 of the 60 students in our class. I felt very sad and couldn't understand why I had suddenly become stupid. As expected, I failed to get into my dream university in the college entrance examination, missing it by only a few points. Although I felt disappointed, I wasn't willing to give up, so I decided to study for another year. The following year, I was finally admitted to a good language university, majoring in English. I chose English because there had once been someone from my village who studied English, went to the United States for further study, and lived there for several years. At that time, that was something everyone admired. I quietly set a goal for myself. One day, I would also go abroad to see the world. In fact, I had loved English since childhood and had always been curious about the world outside. Being able to study the subject I loved in college made me very happy. During my freshman year, I studied very hard and achieved excellent grades. Later, I joined several student clubs, which enriched my campus life, but also took up quite a bit of study time. By my sophomore year, I decided to stay in just one club and devote more time to my studies. Sometimes, my roommates and I would go out to nearby restaurants or take a bus to a shopping mall farther away. My 4 years of university life passed quickly. After graduation, I began working as an English teacher at a training center, teaching elementary and middle school students. My students had different levels of English, but most of them worked hard. After 2 years at the training center, I met my current husband, a math teacher. We dated for a year, then got married and had 2 lovely daughters. After marriage, both of us continued to work at the same training center. He taught math, and I taught English. I had always dreamed of working abroad, but my husband didn't share that desire. He thought life in China was more convenient, with family and friends close by, and saw no need to go abroad. However, after much persuasion, he finally agreed. We both resigned from our jobs and began preparing to move overseas to look for new opportunities. At that time, our elder daughter was 8 and our younger one was 6. After moving abroad, we planned to teach Chinese at an international school, since we both had teaching backgrounds and such jobs were easier to find. We contacted several schools, and they all welcomed us to join their teaching staff. Eventually, we decided that my husband would start working first while I stayed home to help our elder daughter improve her English so she could enter an international school. Our younger daughter was young enough to start directly from grade 1 without extra preparation. Fortunately, both of them were later admitted to the same international school where my husband taught. At first, our elder daughter often cried because she couldn't understand what the teachers were saying. But after 2 months of hard work, she gradually began to follow the lessons. I felt deeply relieved and thankful to the American teachers at her former training center, whose good teaching helped her adapt smoothly to the new environment. Our salaries at the international school were just enough to cover our family's basic living expenses. To improve our financial situation, we decided to try social media, making videos and sharing them online in hopes of earning some extra income. In the beginning, we made many different types of videos, but the views were low. We kept learning and experimenting, trying to find a direction that was both interesting to us and appealing to viewers. We're still working on it today, hoping that one day our social media work will grow and help us build a more stable life. Now, the four of us live in a one-bedroom apartment. My husband and I sleep in the bedroom, and our 2 daughters share the living room, where we've bought a bed just for them. We plan to move to a larger place when our financial situation improves, especially so that our parents will have a place to stay when they visit or come to live with us. My husband is an only child, so when his parents grow older, we will certainly bring them to live with us. We would worry too much if they stayed in China alone with no one to care for them when they get sick. My own parents still live in China and are cared for by my younger brother, but I also hope to see them a few times each year. Sometimes we return to China during holidays, and sometimes they come abroad to visit us. This is our life now, busy and ordinary yet full of hope. We believe that as long as we keep working hard, life will surely get better and better.